Hey fans of Halloween, I just wanted to give a quick update on some progress I'm making with my haunted bookshelf. I made this last year during the Rocky Mountain Haunters group. I put it partway together and then went to finish it last year, and my motor wasn't working real well. I've had this motor apart multiple times over the past year, just tweaking it and getting it working quite right. It would kind of fall apart and bind, and I finally did a few things and super glued a couple items inside there, and I think it is working pretty good. I'm gonna have a Dumbledore or Harry Potter type room in my haunt this year, so this is gonna go in there. But I think it turned out pretty good. And something else that I kind of engineered for this was that originally these springs were meant to be hooked on right here, and then they would be used to basically pull the book back as it would roll back. The problem was that as this rolled forward and that spring became more and more tight because of the distance there, that it actually caused the motor to have to push harder, and the motor I have isn't that powerful, and so I just decided I would engineer up these little return bars, and then that way there's no extra tension against that. If it can push the book out, then it can just as easily pull the book back when it's done. And what I used there was just some regular stock flat iron or flat aluminum stock, and I will go find a piece and measure it and put this with the video, so if you're interested in doing that, you can do that as well. And also I'll put in how long I made those. So here's my aluminum flat stock that I got. It's 1.5 inches wide by 1/8 inch thick, and the dimensions I made, the length I had of it for each one of the bars here were 2.5 inches, and then the bottom was 5 inches, and then the upper back part was 5 inches. So similar to how this little J mark is here. So 2.5 inches there, 5 inches there, 5 inches up. So if you want to use this idea if you have this particular bookcase prop, then you might want to try using that instead of springs if you use the springs. I didn't have a vise, so these weren't quite straight, so I ended up having to also drill some holes in some guides here, because some of these, as it was looping back around, it would push over to the side, and so I needed something to make sure that the books came back straight and weren't missing the flare out there. So I put those in there to help them keep rolling straight and pulling straight back out. I didn't have a vise, so I had to actually just use a stack of bricks and put it in between a couple bricks and then pounded it around, bent it really quick. You don't want to spend too much time bending this, but you bent it pretty quick, maybe 5 or 6 strikes of the hammer, and got that bent on each one of those bends and took care of it, and I think that works out much better than the springs. Anyway, I'm excited for this prop to finally be done. Last year I wanted it in my haunt, and I had problems with the motor and never got it completed, so now it's at least the mechanism's there. I'll need to build something around it to enclose it a little bit. Hey everyone, I finally have my first full prop done for this year that I have a new prop, and finally got my haunted bookshelf finished. You saw some other videos for that, and just put it all together and painted it last night, and made these little blocks here for my skulls to go on. I wanted something to just go on the ends to make it look like it's the end of a bookshelf and not have a whole huge, 3 or 4 bookshelf to build. And I just had the idea of just getting some 3/4 plywood and cutting each one a little offset and make a little stack and put a couple of skulls that I had, and so that's what I ended up doing. But anyway, that's what it's gonna sort of look like. I might put the Book of Monster on top of there, but not quite sure. I'll probably decide that when I finish setting up the whole haunt. Anyway, thanks for watching, and keep on haunting on.